Good morning, guys. Today I want to do something a little bit different. I want to review a product using AI. So I work in the cat litter space, and one of the top brands within that space did a rebrand, and I wanted to kind of show you guys how I would evaluate the rebrand, or more importantly, the product listing that they did with the rebrand. So the brand I'm going to review today is a pretty big brand here. I just wanted to kind of give you guys a step-by-step on my thoughts and how I use AI to really review and hopefully give a valuable input on that. So first and foremost is I want to make sure I have a good prompt. So I work with Claude on getting a good prompt to make sure that I am looking at the listing in the right way and an objective way, and let really AI dictate what the results are going to be. Obviously, I have 15 years of merchandising, 15 years of e-commerce. I know what to look for, and when people say it's easy to come up with prompts, just ask them to review it. But asking them to review it, how you input will get you what the output is. So if you input it in a very generic way, hey, how does this look, or does this look good for a product page, you're going to get a pretty simple response back as well. So I worked with Chloe, like I mentioned yesterday or last night, on how to get a good prompt and how to make sure I get valuable information back, the valuable output, like I said, back from AI. AI is not a simple question and answer. If you do a good question, which is going to be the good prompt, you're going to get a really good answer. So pretty simple. I think this is a standard structure of how to get a good prompt if you're just beginning, or you're just trying to you use AI to help you out at your job or whatever task that you're responsible for. Anyway, so basically the prompt says you are senior e-com strategy in the pet category, which is Amazon, Chewy, PetSmart, Petco. Also, it's very laser focused in the channels, which is good. I'm looking for Fresh Step, the brand I was looking at that recently did that rebrand, and focus on only above the fold. So I'm only looking at one section of it. So I'm not telling it to overdo it. I just want to really focus on the above the fold, which is going to be the landing page, mostly on the desktop, and also it's a little bit smaller on mobile, but we're focusing on desktop today. Evaluate the rebrand, not just the product page. So we're looking at making sure that this is very focused on this one specific task, score it 1 to 10. And this is where I kind of went back and forth with AI on the 5 things I look for. For me personally, I look for the brand signal. I look for the hero image and packaging, the title and copy, trust and proof. I think this is a pretty trustworthy brand regardless. I want to make sure the customer knows that it's trustworthy, being some of these newer customers coming in and looking at it as a demographic that potentially might not really know this brand as well as me, being in it at a very consistent time, looking at this industry and looking at this brand specifically as well. Conversion path, hey, what's the CTA? I think on Amazon it's pretty standard, everybody's used to it. There's a couple other things that I want to look at that I might have missed, and I know I go through this every single day, looking at competitors, looking at our listings, looking at making sure that the experience that the customer is getting when they do land on the website is optimal. So the conversion path is very important to make sure that we are laser focused on the end goal. End goal meaning that they want to purchase, and they purchase and they're happy with it. So that's kind of the merchandising role, is get them comfortable with the product, give them enough information and not overdo the information, but making sure that they are comfortable enough to purchase. So, and I think after scoring, this is very important. Some of the verdict that AI thinks, I've already had my thoughts and my kind of verdict on this rebrand, but biggest wins, biggest misses, and something that I added on, and this is a really good suggestion by AI, is that the shelf test. If it's next to your competitor, as a result, why would you not purchase, or why would you not click on Fresh Step imagery in the product listing over the other ones? But anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this, and this is the cool part. So I copy this, and I go over to, let me see if I have it pulled up. Yeah, okay, I have Amazon pulled up. So on Cloud, you get to have this extension. So what happens is I pull this extension out, and let me make sure just copy the exact one I just went over you. I would try to zoom in on this one. I can't zoom in on extensions, but I can zoom in on the regular page. So hang with me here. If you guys have any questions, or if you guys want to see this prompt or get this prompt, just let me know and I'll send it over to you guys. But let's go over to Fresh Step first. I got to pull up the actual listing. Let's just go with, let me zoom in a little bit so you guys see. Let me just click on this one here because it is overall pick. This is their new brand, their new rebrand, excuse me. So let's just go ahead and run this. This is pretty cool. So I have it right here. So I'm gonna just go ahead and click the prompt. So what it is you see here, you see this little orange little box. It's actually reading this. The cloud is actually reading this right now and taking a screenshot above the fold. This is kind of the above the fold that has the images, the title, and some of these stuff that I wanted it to review. So going back to that, and I know this is a very small here, but I'll read it out loud for you guys. This is their plan. This is AI's plan. I guess I can make this a little bit bigger like this. This is AI's plan. So they're reviewing the page, which is the Amazon page that I pulled up. And what they want to do is take a screenshot, which they're already doing, zoom in on key areas like the hero images, packaging, the title block, CTN, everything like that. And they want to review it in a very detailed way, read the page structure and all the other stuff that I prompted it to do, and deliver a full rebrand evaluation with scores and strategic recommendations. So pretty straightforward. Let's just approve the plan and let Cloud kind of do its job. While it's doing it, I'll just kind of give you guys my thoughts on this rebrand that they did. Light blue is my favorite color, so I like the new colors. It's a little bit easier on the eyes, especially for this one. I know they have another version that is a darker blue, which I don't really like. But it's cat litter. I'm not looking here to buy because of the brand color, brand box. I'm really looking for the actual benefits if I was to own a cat. So I think in merchandising, everybody's all caught up in excuse me, on the flashing. It is taking screenshots, as you can see here on the right here. It's taking screenshots and evaluating different sections while I'm trying to figure out what's going on here from my perspective. So you're looking at the title itself here. Fresh Step Clumping Cat Litter, Multi-Cat, Long-Lasting Odor, Kitty Litter with activated charcoal, very unique activated charcoal, and low dust formula. Some of these are pretty good in my opinion. I would rely on them to do their research on what keywords people relate best to them. Activated charcoal seems like a very unique and very feature specific or niche specific term. Would I put it on the title? I don't know. They might have enough information to validate it. Low dust formula. I know cat litter is very, very big on low dust, so that's very important to have on the title. The other long lasting odor, multi-cat, stuff like that is pretty standard on a lot of the cat litter listings. But let's review the images. I don't want to mess up kind of their zooming in and taking pictures, but let's review the other section. I didn't sign into my Prime, so usually this box isn't as big and it doesn't push the call to action button to the very bottom here, but Amazon did a great job with the buy now stuff, so as long as that's showing, I think that is very good on the buyable area. I have just pulled up helium 10. Let me get this. How do I get this off? There you go. So price is pretty good, 18% off, and then it looks like they have 4 different variations. One's unavailable, so that's always not good. Looks like they have 6+ images plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I think they have 11 images and 6 videos. So it's quite a lot of videos, which is good. I think right now with everybody being on their phone and having that situation, more videos the better. I don't know what the videos is, but it is a good amount. So 4.6 stars with 92,000 reviews. They're established brands, so I don't expect anything less. The overall pick badge, very important. This is something that Amazon gets to decide who they want to give the overall pick to. 4-star rated, purchase often, and return infrequently, which is a big deal. 80,000 units bought in the last month. A very good confidence builder for me, especially when I see that. I'm just kind of filling the time at when AI is kind of doing their research. So hopefully by this, within a couple minutes, they'll have that review done, but we'll wait patiently for that. Let me go back and kind of give you guys a review of the actual details of the prompt. So the brand signal, does the new brand register immediate? Can I tell that Fresh Step within 2 seconds? Does it feel like an upgrade or a lateral move? I don't have the old brand, so I do apologize for not having that ready, but does it compare good with the next kind of main competitors that they determine in here? So let's just answer these questions. Does the new branding register immediately? Can I tell this is Fresh Step within 2 seconds? So give me your guys' thoughts. Oop, I kind of hovered over. So this is where you would land right here. So let me, a Fresh Step. Very big and bold imagery. Oh, very big and bold on the Fresh Step. Fresh Step was the first two words on the title. That's pretty much it. I think that's pretty much the good amount to put on here. As long as the box and the rebrand is very clear. I like this little sparkle on the top left of their brand here. Right here, this is a very nice add to it. Kind of draws your attention to the actual brand. So whoever did it on that did a very good job. Odor control is obviously what they want to stress on this, or the variation of this one. So that's nicely placed right underneath this kind of little arrow thing. I know these are some minor things that I pay attention to, at least, is like, how are they directing your eyeballs? Are they directing it from the very top left, which it looks like it is, and it kind of funnels you towards whatever you want to. So it funnels you towards odor shield. So that is a secondary kind of main thing that they want to. The cat is a nice touch. It's more of a human feel or more of an emotional feel with the cat, but it's stressing, hey, this is Fresh Step, this is Odor Step. But that's my initial reaction on this new one. I like it quite a bit. It's a very, very thought out, well thought out rebrand, very clean, and very big and bold letters on Amazon, which is very good for e-commerce or digital commerce stuff. But with that being said, it looks like they are done with the score. So let's take a look. Brand signal, 7 out of 10. I don't know if I want to read this. I'll put this in the, do I want to put this? I'll put this in the, if you guys want this, let me know. I'll review it. I didn't really get a chance to review this or run this anyway, so I need to review this and kind of give you guys probably my thoughts and notes on this, but let's just review the score. Brand signal, 7 out of 10, and read the first sentence, I guess, at least. The Fresh Step board mark is the dominant visual element, exactly what I said. Large navy blue stacked in a white shield shape takes up roughly 40%, so they went in and actually calculated the amount of space it takes, which is good. You actually know this is Fresh Step within the first 2 seconds, exactly what I thought as well. Why this worked, the corn flavored blue box is proprietary to Fresh Step, and that's kind of cool. Nobody else owns that shade on the litter shelf, so they own that. I did not know that. The back, I can't zoom in on this, so I know it's going to be small. Board mark is a clear attempt to create more of a badge-like premium brand mark, which scale from shelf to thumbnail to banner ad. So they thought of the 3 levels: the retail side of business, the online side, and also the ad side. So that's really good. What's missing on the rebrand? Let's see what AI says. There's nothing above the fold that AI says new look or same product. This is probably a strategic move. They didn't want to highlight the Fresh Step, but somebody that's in the cat litter industry and looking at these listings, I can kind of pretty much spot out one of our main competitors if they do a little nice refresh. But that's okay. That's not up for us to decide if they want to kind of make that a focus. For returning buyers who do auto buys, it could generate some cause of hesitation. This is one of some of the potential definitely downfalls of rebrands, is that your old customers think that you changed up the formula. There's some hesitation in terms of, hey, is this going to be the same product? Just part of the subscribe and save kind of demographic, that they don't want anything to change. They subscribe for a reason. They want the same product every single week, every single month type. So I completely agree with what AI said. The hesitation could be there. This is the exact same thing I buy. The old packaging was darker blue with different layout. This reads as a meaningful upgrade, cleaner but more modern and more confident. But Fresh Start doesn't tell anybody of the upgrade. So that's important. That's some of the things that strategically you got to think about if you do a rebrand, is what is your old customers going to think about it? We're always trying to attack new customers, but what does old customers that you spent hard-earned money and eyeballs and create that loyalty, how are they going to feel? So I'll move this on. This is getting pretty long, and I want to kind of just read through the other ones. Hero images, the package 7.5 out of 10. I agree with that score. I'd probably give it a little bit higher. I like the packaging simplicity and some of the main big bold letters that they use on the box. Title and copy clarity, 6 out of 10. Let me see why they gave it such a low. What a 5-second scan. Clumpy cat litter odor 14 pound. That's the essential, and they did good. What gets muddled here? Let's read why they gave it a 6. The title: use cat litter and kitty litter. This is some that we discussed quite a bit. Kitty litter and cat litter, they're interchangeable, so I don't know why you would want to waste any of that on the title, but that's kind of a keyword stuffing. Using the word litter quite a bit is what the old people or where I grew up in SEO to kind of stuff the keyword, but we're moving past that into more of an AI generative search. So probably not the best. Long-lasting odor conditioner is generic and doesn't feel differentiated from any other competitors. I talked about this section here. I don't know if you guys can see it. Activated charcoal is a nice material claim, but it's a feature, not a benefit. A shopper scanning doesn't know why activated charcoal matters to them. So that's another kind of one of the things I asked when I was reading this title is like, yeah, that's kind of cool, but I have no idea what it is. Maybe they answered it in one of the carousel images. I don't know, but that is something very, very interesting that I think me and AI agreed upon that. Trust proof, yeah, I already talked about this. 4.6 stars, 92,000 reviews. They've been around for a while, and 80K bought in the last month. It gives a pretty good trust and proof. And the last one, I kind of want to read the rebrand one at the very end and to close out this video. But conversion path, 8 out of 10. This is more on Amazon. This is more on Amazon creating a good, what's the word? Good experience for the customers. That's their job. That's their job to make sure everything is going smooth. The buy now was a very good feature I talked about earlier. But the conversion path is something that I want to have AI see if this is the right conversion path. Obviously, Amazon has a bunch of dedicated resources to make it the best. So I won't read that part. Rebrand verdict. This feels like a meaningful evolution, not just a paint job. The move to the shield shape brand mark, the cleaner hierarchy, supporting the brand subline and supporting claim. Going back to this imagery right here. Yeah, that's exactly what I said earlier. I like the flow. I really do like the flow. The more I look at it now, of the fresh step and the odor shield and with odor eliminating carbon. That's a little bit easier to digest than activated charcoal, to be honest. So I'm glad they put that on the box instead of activated charcoal. I think that was one of the biggest wins, is that box and what people are reading and what people's eyes are moving towards. This rebrand is pretty much entirely visual. There's nothing that mentioned it on the listing, at least above the fold. I don't know if they mentioned it down on the bottom on the A+ section. But the biggest win, the trust, I think that is a win. We all know about Fresh Step. If you're in the cat litter industry, you know this brand pretty well. They're always very trustworthy. They're huge. I don't know who the parent company is, but we know that they're good and they're big and they're trustworthy for sure. The biggest miss is that it doesn't mention, let me see, the title doesn't mention odor shield. So yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even notice that. So AI brought up the point that the box, obviously the second thing that I looked at was odor shield, and that was only validated once in terms of the above the fold. If they added to the title, that would be a very good ad, because you want to double down on people that says they saw it on the title and now they see it on the box. Double down. Attention span is kind of locked in on that keyword term that you want to highlight. So shelf test. Would I click it? Would I click Fresh Step and search result next to Tidy Cats or Arm & Hammer? Likely yes, but more because of the trust signal than the packaging. So they're looking at more outside of the rebrand and say that, hey, people are buying it, 80,000 people are buying it with good reviews, and the rebrand isn't technically a highlight, or do they strategically want it to be a highlight? They gave the rebrand a respectable B+, and the net assess. The rebrand is solid B+ work, elevated, cohesive, well positioned against competitors, but it's not fully being leveraged in the Amazon content layer, which is where most of the purchase decision is made. So that is the end. Gave it a B+. I give it an A-. I give it a solid A- or even an A, because the brand and the box I feel like is nicely done. It's very simple, very focused on some of these big bold words that I think the merchandising world is shifting to, or if they haven't shifted already. Majority of the big good brands I think will start doing that. This is very important, but I give it an A-. I think AI is a little harsh, B+. But going forward, I'll probably look at some of the smaller brands and see what AI says. This is kind of a series that I want to do, because this is pretty much what I do on the daily. So I will end the video there. If you guys want this prompt, let me know. If you guys want the file I mentioned earlier right here, that allows you to kind of review basically any listing that you want, give it a grade, give it the reasoning behind the grade. And also, you will need Claude browser extension to do this, because it does need to take screenshots and evaluate from there. But let me know if you have any questions. See you guys tomorrow.